How can it actually improve you as a student? It gives you much more purpose. That little kick, the thing that gets you out of bed. The thing that makes you want to go to the gym, that thing that makes you want to interact with people, the thing that makes you want to, that little boost of energy that makes you want to create something. And not just for your deadlines, not just for your uni course, that makes you just want to create stuff outside of your lessons, to pursue that business, to pursue your passions. You may have gone to film school, or maybe you've done an arts course because you are passionate about it, because you're very interested in it. You may have heard that when you bust your nut, you are wasting life energy. That energy that is so powerful that it can create life. Of course, when we're wasting on porn, on meaningless fucks, then why do we want to get out of bed? Why do we want to do anything with our lives when we are comfy? We have all the women we want in these pixels. Why do we want to get out of bed? Why do we want to socialize? We're good. Why? We don't need to do none of that. We don't need to work on soft skills like communication. We don't need to read books on teamwork. We don't need to do none of that. But when you get selfish and you save that energy, when you save that attention, that focus, you just become so much more powerful. Not only will uni become easier for you, but you will be less overwhelmed. You will be less overwhelmed when you got the deadlines, when you got the part-time job. You will feel purpose. You will feel, and I'm not even talking about a uni course right now, you will have a better sense of direction of your life. And when you have that, when you have that within yourself, that direction, the fact that to be aware that you're aligned with your goals. Do you even have goals? Or maybe you're just drained from all of this. Goals written down? But if not, maybe you are too drained to be considering all of that, to be achieving something outside in the real world, because you are good. You have unlimited women. All these pixels are ready for you. You have unlimited women at your fingertips, ready for you. Yes, daddy. That kick, the energy to actually do anything rather than just stuff that is in your lectures, the stuff that you need to do because of deadlines, to do things beyond that, to have energy to socialize, to want to read books, to want to improve yourself, to want to go to the gym. That is the key, and that's the foundation right there. Just the fact that you have purpose. Because once you have purpose, anything that you touch, any project that you pursue, life will just flow into it. This energy, this passion of life will just flow into it so seemingly effortlessly. Now, it's not your fault that you have a vice to actually cope, because sometimes we may not even want to go to uni. Maybe we went to uni because our parents forced us to. Even if you weren't pressured by your parents, even if you love your course, the way it's structured, the schooling system, the fact that they expect you to do every single role, have every single hat on. Whereas in the industry, in the real world, everyone has their roles and you delegate other people, but they expect you to do everything, and no wonder you're overwhelmed. You have to do an essay as well as a film production, as a theory on the history of film. Like, bro, I understand why. You may not even feel like you're getting help at uni. You may not even be seeing your lecturers, but just do understand it's not your fault, but it is you that is able to control it, and you are able to change your destiny. You are able to change the generational curse within you and your family. Why would you, when you're good, when you're comfy, why would you want to get out of bed when you got thousands, not even thousands, you got millions of women ready for you? Daddy, they're ready for you. Throughout my first year, I've spoken to a fair amount of students who say that they don't know what they want to do outside of this course. They don't know what to do with this degree. They don't know what role they want to pursue in this field. I feel like purpose is so big. Like, even if, for example, if maybe right now you're scared of failure, so you don't want to commit to a job. You don't want to say you want to be a film director just in case you don't get it. So it's much easier to find out later. Like, just find out later. It'll come eventually when I get that piece of paper. And that's all good. And, putting stuff out into the universe and serenity. I used to think that was good, just leaving out to the universe. But we do need to take action. And we need to realize that we do have the control to have purpose, have direction in our life. But often we don't know what our purpose is. We don't know where we want to go with our lives, with this career path. We're just kind of winging it. And I guess, in a sense, everyone is winging it to a degree. But when you have purpose, everything becomes much more meaningful. You are less likely to skip class because you think, oh, I'm too good for this, or I already know how to edit, so I don't need to go to this. When you've got a goal in your mind, anything you do, you can apply it back to your overall purpose. So then nothing becomes meaningless. That's helped me because in my mind, I'm a film producer. Now, when we're learning about sound and learning how to do sound recording and soundscape, not necessarily I'm excited or that I want to be a sound recordist in the future. However, as a producer, I will need to know the processes of the soundscape. I'll need to know what makes a good soundscape, how to communicate constructively, how to articulate what it is that I actually want from the sound recorders. So if I don't know that, how can I actually do my job if I don't know how this department works with this department and how I can communicate between the two and how they all link? Again, not necessarily I want to be a sound recordist, but in that sense, I'm not thinking I'm good enough to not show up to my sound recording workshop, because everything, even though it has a purpose now, because I can relate it all back to my purpose of my vision. And I just mentioned right now that I'm not necessarily excited for like sound recording. I do understand the meaning behind it. I understand that there is purpose for it, for me. So then that helps me to become more attentive because I'm actually learning how I can apply this to what I want rather than just learning it generally, rather than just learning it and listen to it vaguely with no purpose, with no intent to use this. So talking about purpose, maybe a lot of the reasons why we don't feel like we're on our purpose or we're aligned with our vision and goals is because we are distracted. We are distracting ourselves. Porn is just so big because it just stems with mental health, the way you view yourself, the way you view women, the way you view other people, the way you view yourself amongst other people, the way it affects a lot of things. How you view your partner, your family, it affects so much. We are openly welcoming that. The pixels, the porn, into our lives. And as I mentioned before, we are good. We have all these women. We have all these women cyberly. Cyberly. We have all these cyber pixels in our commands. At the flick of our fingertips, we have any women we want, any. And why am I bringing women into filmmaking? It's because we're distracting ourselves to actually want to pursue anything further than the stuff that is in our lectures. When you're searching for busty Latina, 5'7", very curated, specific attributes. Like, bro, what are you telling your body? What are you telling with the focus and your attention? What are you telling yourself with that? And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that framework of being distracted, why would you want to make a film if you have all these? Why would you want to do something more than your uni course when you got all these bad bitches that you have specific requirements that you can adjust? Like, I highly recommend this book by David Data, The Way of the Superior Man. And one of his points was to take a step back from routine distractions. As I mentioned in OFAT, this could include things like watching too much TV. The routine distractions is different for each person, but the main purpose is that we are distracting ourselves to the point where we don't know what we want with our lives. We are distracting ourselves to the point where we're comfy. We don't want to do anything more. And then once you get momentum on not fapping, on just saving it, being selfish with your energy, with your life force, once you get that going, oh my gosh, the ability, the fact that your purpose is able to flow into your creative projects, into your uni work, into your studies, and your willingness to socialize and learn and improve, oh my days, game changer. And the thing is, the things I've mentioned, the self-improvement kind of stuff, right now they sound like a bore. Right now they sound like, oh, working out, that sounds like a dread. But once you have more purpose, once you actually start being selfish and keeping your life energy, keeping it, like we don't need to do anything, but it will just flow. You'll be in that flow state where you forget about time, where everything you do just seems so, how do I describe the flow state? Where you just forget about time, you're just so deep into your work. And the thing is, it doesn't even feel like work. When you're researching, when you're making scripts, when you're socializing, when you're teamwork and communicating, it doesn't feel like work. When you're trying to read a book on business, marketing, on soft skills, like, again, communication, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun. But how can it? You have no life force. You have no ammo to direct things in. You have hardly energy to do your uni course. So how are you going to do your side business as well? How are you going to do learning outside of your part-time job if you have no purpose, no direction? Again, as a guy who struggled with motivation and overwhelmness and just a lack of energy and pursuing stuff outside of my uni course, bro, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. The way the whole thing is constructed, the part-time job with the lack of sleep, the socializing, like I get it. It's a lot to be understandable to be overwhelmed by. But we got this.